Today's show is sponsored by you. You can click on the links in the description box below and make donations through various places. To keep the show alive. Daily Meditations, the teachings of Lao Tzu. Words can never convey the beauty of a tree. To understand it, you must see it with your own eyes. Language cannot capture the melody of a song. To understand it, you must hear it with your own ears. So it is with the Tao. The only way to understand it is to directly experience it. Oh, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Daily Tips for Composing for Classical Guitar. And today we're going to be looking at a Bach cantata, Jesu meine Seele. I think that's how you pronounce it. BWV 78. And this is with the chorus. And this is an interesting piece we're going to look at. And before we get into it, check out my alt-tech platforms like BitChute, Odyssey, and Rumble. I live stream on all those platforms. And you can get a hold of me at those places like Minds and Gab. And don't forget, if you want to see a backlog of all my composition videos I've done live stream, check out my Facebook page. I have tons of videos there. And one other thing before we get into it, I do a call to composers. So what that is that if you composed a piece for classical guitar and would like to see it featured on this episode, send me a copy, like one page. You don't have to send me the whole piece, just like one page a sample of your music you wrote for classical guitar, and send it to me at crumleycake@gmail.com. That's crumleycake@gmail.com. I'll respond to you, and then on the next episode, I'll do the episode. So I'll do the episode about your piece of music. So get those compositions out to me. So here we go. We're looking at the cantata BWV 78, and we're looking at the theme. So what I did was, now this is kind of like a variation of the theme, but it's a different kind of variation on a theme. It's like a continuous variations on a theme, so to speak. There is no real variations on a theme, as you would traditionally think of it, demarcated by the theme and the variation 1, 2. No, this is continuous, and we'll get into that a little bit here. So to take a look at the theme, now, this is not the same type as the Handel one we did. Totally different than the Handel variation on the theme. It has, the theme, lots of brevity in the theme, very good, typical you find in Bach. Its placement is in the bass, and it has, you'll find, we'll take a look at the theme, which is in the bass, kind of like a basso continuo, continuous variation, and it's not really, because how you would describe continuous variation would be something that's not clearly marked by a cadence, like a very direct cadence that you would find in a variation, what they call punctuated cadences. So here's the theme. Okay. So the theme is in the bass here, and it's in triplet meter there, 3/4. So it's got the tonic there, and then it ends on the dominant. But it doesn't really end, but it's a 3-measure phrase. And it starts with G, 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 and then F sharp, F natural, E natural, E flat, D. And that's the main theme. So the theme, it isn't like a really well-defined melody. It's just more like a passacaglia or just basso continuo kind of thing. It's not very well defined. It's sort of, it is sort of a little self-contained little melody. Like the Handel theme that we did. But this theme here will definitely reoccur over and over again. You will hear it, definitely. And, okay, so now getting into the variations. So the variations, this is, or ground bass, that's what I meant to call this. This is a ground bass. So this is the type of melody you could write in your piece, too, like a little ground bass like this. It's kind of similar to the, what is it? Not Ronald Purcell. Is it Purcell? I forget to say his name. Purcell or Purcell? He wrote the Dido's Lament. That has a ground bass, a descending ground line that's repeated over and over again. But the variations on top will change continuously without having a very strong cadence in there. Okay, so there's the first variation, number 1. So let's see the ground bass. Look at my notes here. It does sort of reveal itself in an endless fashion. That's the repetition part. So the ground the ground bass, as you saw, ends on the dominant, so that the harmony, or the resolution of the harmony, is that it's simultaneously sort of beginning of the next ground statement. So measures 4 and 5. So it ends, and then it begins with the next ground statement. So let's take a look at measures 4 and 5. I hope these have measure markings on them. No, they don't. See, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 and 5. Now the ground bass, okay, there's the theme right there at the bottom. See it? There's the ground bass theme, and ends on the dominant. And then it's kind of, there's this part here, measure 4 and 5. Yeah, it just sort of ends here, right there on the dominant, so to speak, but it does a little eighth note pattern there, and it brings us back to the ground again. So it's seamless there. It just goes, starts, it ends the same part there. There's piano reduction down there, so you can see that for better representation of the ground theme there and how it ends and begins. So it ends, and then it begins where it left off, so to speak. So there's G, and it repeats again. So it's a nice self-contained little thing. Yeah, and the rhythmic activity, you might say, kind of spills over too. So that kind of gives it this continuous variation on the theme. Lack of cadence, overlapping occurring in the ground bass, and then this continuous idea of how the rhythmic activity sort of spills over to the next thing. So those are 3 things to keep in mind when you are writing a ground bass like this. Is if you want continuous variations, you have to keep those 3 things in mind. It isn't like concrete set 3 things in mind, but it's definitely something worth considering. And you might want to model this idea here on your piece of music. You might want to write a ground bass that's continuous, the laxity kind of cadence. It overlaps with the ground basses beginning and ending, sort of overlapping over each other, and then the rhythm there also overlaps. So you got a nice steady rhythmic theme that overlaps with each other. Okay, so that's, let me take a look at the, where's my finale there? Okay, there's finale. And I see I wrote it out here. Let's see. Let me get that. I wrote it out here in piano reduction. It says guitar, but that's fine. Okay, yeah. That's the variations now. We're getting to the variations. So the end of the ground, so the beginning of the ground, if you see here at the top, the E natural, E flat, D, and then D, B flat, E. The end of the ground actually comes here, right here, at the beginning of the measure 3 there. There's the ground, and it comes to an end. There's the complete ground. And then over here, it overlaps in the bass. You have the beginning of the ground. I'm sorry, in the middle voice. That's what I was looking at. I was thinking bass. But the middle voice here, as you can see, make that bigger. You can see the middle voice where the ground picks up again. It begins. See how it overlaps? It ends here, and then it begins here again. There's G, G. There's the theme, G, G. There it is. See? Okay, see, it ends right on the B note there, B flat, and then it begins again. So it's continuous. So, yeah, that's a different kind of variation, very different from the handle. I prefer continuous variations like this myself. I don't really like the traditional demarcated sort of, variation 1, variation 2, and it's all very separate from, it has very strong cadences. And this, I like this, it lacks cadences or strong cadences, and they're just sort of overlapping each other, rhythmically and melodically. Okay, so as we go through the movement here, as we go through this whole piece, we'll go back and take a look at that. We start getting to the choral section. The ground continues. You can see it continues there, and we get to the choral section, which is measure 21 to 25. Let's see, where is it? Oh, there it is, right there. That must be 20. I wish they would have put the measure numbers in here. God, so lazy. Always put your measure numbers in. So there is the choral phrase. It's exclusively sung by the sopranos. It says just the sopranos in there. You have sopranos. And it starts measure 21 to 25. This is, chord bass. Okay. Doubled by the horn and flutes. Is it doubled by the horns and flutes? Oh, yeah, yeah. Where's, okay, yeah. Okay, so you can see how it's doubled there. There. So that's a good way to emphasize the ground, is doubled up with the horns and flutes, if you like. So that helps. That definitely helps. But you can't really do that on guitar. I mean, you probably could get away with it. It's a little harder, though, to differentiate the tone color or the sort of the timbre of those on the different strings to try to simulate the sound of a horn or trumpet or something. Yeah, that's kind of a little bit harder. So you're gonna have to try something else. You're gonna do something to do with your the tone color on your, like, maybe your nails or something. Yeah, you must try some, experiment with it, see if you can come up. Try to figure out ways to make the voices come out. Okay, so there is 21 to 25. 21, 22, 23, 24. Why is my mouse doing that? 25. Okay, and it says the melody right there again. It says it again. So, and then it continues on. Let's see. It continues on from there. Each statement, okay, so each statement of the chorale phrase by the sopranos, the ground appears in the bass. So every time the voice in the sopranos enters, there's the ground, there's the ground right there. G, 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 F sharp, F natural, F natural again, E natural, E flat, E, D, D, and again. And it will start over again. Each time it enters, let me see if that's true. Okay, yeah, there it is again. There's the ground again. Let's see, I'm just trying to take a look. So each time the voice enters sopranos, the ground will enter in there it is, yeah. You'll see it there. So it's a very, oh, there it is right there. That's the ending of it, okay. It's not a very long piece, it's short. Okay, I don't want to get too off. Let's see. Now, each phrase of the chorale text is the lower voices. Oh, so there's imitation going on here too. Imitation in the lower voice. What are we looking at here? Measure 17 and 20. There's imitation. 1, 2, 3, 4. What happened? 5, 6. Oh, this mouse. 7. What happened? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Now there should be some imitation here. Is that true? Okay, so the lower voices will imitate the phrase of the chorale, the text. The lower voices. Okay. So do we get that? Or this is where it came in here. Is that the lower voices? There's the soprano voices. And the lower voices should be imitating that as it comes in. It should be. Okay, I'm not seeing that. There's the theme. Where's the imitation? Is that going? These aren't the lower voices. There's the viola. Okay, well. I mean, that's one thing you can do, certainly, is imitation also helps to kind of solidify the ground or the theme, the original theme, so it helps people remember it better. But yeah, I didn't really see the lower voices in imitation fashion, but I'm sure it's probably there. 25 and 32. Okay, the music unfolds. So these kind of layers start happening too. These textures and waves of layers, sort of cresting and peaking and lowering, and as they're singing the melody, as it goes on in the sopranos. So we have this texture here. Where does it start from? 25. Okay, there's where the voice comes in. There's the soprano, and there's the well. There's lots of activity here in the bass, but it's not imitating. I don't see imitation there. Yeah, there's a lot. See, there's how it kind of like. There's much more layers now. There's much more voices coming in. So we get like a full, almost like motet kind of thing going on here in the middle here with all these different voices. Okay, but we're not really looking at that too much. I don't want to get too much into that. I just want to kind of touch on the basic idea of using a ground bass, continuous variations through the ground basses overlapping each other, the ground bass theme overlapping each other, like I showed, and imitation, and also rhythmic overlap as well. So I think that's Oh, there's one other thing I want to talk about. I had this scored out here for a reason. This right here, when the voices come in, you'll notice something interesting. See if you noticed it about the F natural there and the F sharp. The first phrase of this chorale, you'll notice the pitches of the ground, except E natural, are present in the bass line of the harmonized phrase. So here's the harmonized phrase coming in, and you'll see G, right? And then you'll see F sharp, and then you'll see F natural, and then it'll go down to E, and then all the way down to D. See, within this harmonized texture, the ground bass is still present, and it's occurring on all the downbeats. You know, the first beat, and then the third beat. There's G, then there's F sharp, and there's F natural. It goes on upbeat. I was wrong, and then it goes down to E. So the ground bass is there. A little bit of a rhythmic diminution there towards the end, but it's there inside the texture. So again, something you can consider when you're writing your continuous variations. So I think that's about it. Let's listen to this piece. Is there anything else I need to cover? Okay. I don't care about that. Is there anything else? Okay, no, that should do it. All right, so let's listen to the piece. So there's kind of some ideas you can kind of, you know, think about when you're writing a piece of music. There's all kinds of things you can do, but this is just one of them, some of them. Okay, let's listen. Right here. There's the ground theme. And right there. And the voices are coming in. There's the ground. Imitation. There's the lower voices. There's the ground. Hear it. Back to that again. Kind of binary form. There we go. We're almost done. You see the ground there in the middle. Oops. A lot more activity in the bassoon there. Now the lower voices. So imitation there. Now everybody's going to come in. Tootie. Tootie all the way. No real hard cadences. Okay, we're coming to the end. Almost like a fugue in a way. Oops. Much more. Yeah, here's the imitation part here they were talking about. I missed. Okay, we're to the end. There we are. Okay, there it is. There's the ground bass, like in major now. Sorry. Oh. There's lots of activity there with those texture there, the voices, really. Okay, now we're that much more vertical. We're almost done. Okay. It's going to come in again here. There it is. Mein Gott. There's that again. I can kind of read the piano. Oh, there it comes. Okay, they go back to the beginning. There's the ground bass at the end. You see it? Swell at the end. Perfect. Okay. So you kind of see that's a really good example of continuous variations. And I like the continuous variations the best because it takes a lot more imagination to construct something like that rather than just doing the typical standard traditional the variation type we're so used to hearing. This is better. I like this one. The chaconne, I think the Bach chaconne is probably the perfect example of continuous variation, but any of these are good. All right, so there's some, hope that helped today, and a little bit longer than I thought I was going to, but expect it's Bach cantata. There's a lot there. I don't want to go through the harmony. I just want to kind of go over the 3 points of continuous variation. The overlapping of the ground bass, the overlapping of the rhythmic, and then the imitative things that are going on there in the texture with the ground bass, and the doubling of voices too. They kind of emphasize the ground bass as well. There's a lot of things to think about and to do when you write a ground bass continuous variation. So try it out. Compose a little, 4-page little guitar piece that does continuous variation on a ground bass. And you can do a short ground bass like this, just 3 measures. That's good enough. A lot. All right. That's it for today's video. Let me know in the comments section below if you found it helpful or you had more questions. And don't forget to send me compositions to crumblycake@gmail.com. That's all. See you next video. Bye-bye.